Hello everyone, and welcome back. It is time for another edition of the Misfits Racing League. We are here now for the 13th round out of 22. It is time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and joining me for Tier 3 action, as always, from Spain, Alex Bitto. How you doing today, Alex?
Hello. Very good, Triv, and very excited as always here to see these drivers on the Hungary GP, and very good track to drive, surely.
It's a very unique circuit, flowing circuit, I'd say. Some touch and go turns here, like turn 5 with the inside curving, but of course 14 turns overall. 4.381 kilometers is the Hungaroring here in Budapest, and it is going to be a very fun encounter as we are just coming out of Silverstone, which was a very fun exchange for pretty well all of the races that we had out of the 5 grids. Formula 2 was quite exciting as well. But yes, here now for the 13th round of MRL Season 4 action. Next week we move ahead into Belgium. Following that, Italy, Singapore, Russia, Japan, the United States, Mexico, Brazil, as well as the finale, of course, who could forget, Abu Dhabi for round 22. Massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat, or of course the panels down below on their website for some amazing sim racing rigs, motion sims, wheel stands, and things alike for the beginner to the advanced racer. Massive shout out to them. So please do us a favor and check out that link. Check out their site. They got some great stuff. Now, with that being said, after taking a look at the calendar, this is what it's about right here. The Drivers' Championship, as well as, of course, the Constructors. But the Drivers' Championship currently being led by the Racing Point driver, the Dutchman Rutanius, with 200 points now in lead of things. Maka, second position, 129 points for him. And then it's the pair of Red Bulls, Yasko, back row, separated by 1 point. Yasko with 110 points in that third slot there. Adam and Squid 5 and 6. We have Dunk on You, Dirk, Unicorn, and Lavelle rounding out the 10 drivers for the Drivers' Championship so far in the top 10. The Constructors, Red Bull, Racing Point, and Alfa Romeo in that order. Of course, we have the combined Constructors as well going on, and you can find that on racinghub.io. Now, with all of that being said, I have to say it is a very tight championship, and if you guys want a closer look at the standings, you can also go to racinghub.io or check it out on the latest post on our Twitter page. But this is now 1 minute and just a short time before we get into 18 minutes of qualifying. We are ready to go racing here around Hungary, Alex.
Yeah, and I'm really thrilled to see this race because, well, it always brings a lot of different strategies. Sometimes rain. Well, I always like to say this before the races, but it's always exciting to see what can happen on this track. Is a very let's say close track. You don't have that many spots to overtake. You have, of course, clearly turn 1 and turn 2, and probably turn 12 sometimes. But there's difficult zones there, and you can really lose the car on traction, or probably carrying too much speed onto the S's of Sector 2.
Well, the S's of Sector 2 can be very flowing here. We'll see what happens, of course, through the chicane and the various other unique zones around Budapest here. I want to see if we get rain. Rain is something that we saw last week for this grid, and I want to see if we get it again. It's presented some very fun races, we'll say, is the rain. Back row Yasko now, the last two just loading into session here. Get that switched on over.
Yeah, we had rain on Silverstone. If I'm not mistaken, back row won that one, but was Daniel Monav who won on track but had a 3-second time penalty. He did one more stop, as I think back row didn't pit a single time on that race and went full straight on inters all the race long, I think.
All right. We are now into session here. 20 drivers on the grid. We'll take you through it. We have Undertaker, Damon Plays, Daniel Monoff, Duncan, you, Becario, Cactus, Unicorn, Lavelle, Linus, Alex, Bud, Arrow, Moen, Britannius, Gato Back Row, Dirk Chocolate, Maca, Squid, Grenade Gorn, and Yasko. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the entirety of the full-time roster.
Exactly. 20 full-time drivers for today. Not a single reserve, so they will be all scoring points for their singular teams, and we'll hope they can do their best. Of course, only 10 drivers will do it.
We'll see who the first driver is out on track. We're waiting for a weather report as well. And I have to say, when things are taking this long to get out on track, it is a little bit concerning, and it makes you wonder, could we be seeing some wet weather?
Try to heavy rain.
Ooh, well, that just sounds like my kind of way to open up the week of racing, Alex. Dry to heavy rain on the horizon. Well, it's time to go racing for round 13. We have 18 minutes of qualifying. It's looking like it will be a dry qualifying session. And who will be first out of the pit lane here? We can see one of the Ferraris on their way out. Will a Williams beat them?
Squid is always the first. He really likes to be the first on track. He wants to feel first how's the track on the how's the grip, and he will be starting on this first run on softs. We'll see if he wants to invalidate on purpose or just only setting a lap that will not represent his better time.
I'm very excited for this race now. If we're having dry to wet conditions, Hungary, a circuit that is quite difficult on tire degradation, if I'm not mistaken, especially on the softs. We'll have to see what these drivers opt to do in qualifying. Do you think we'll see a major separation in tire choice?
I really don't know, because I really don't know when is that race coming. So we will see what these drivers can do. As we see already a spin, I think it was Cactus. He was on his outlap. Doesn't seem like he had major issues apart from that mistake. But now Squid just cooling down the tires. It's very important to do this. On this sector 3 is you just overheat the front left, and it can be massive to understeer on that last corner of turn 14.
Well, here we go now. If you want to take us through a lap of Hungary, Alex.
Yes, Squid will be starting this lap with the ERS deployment on hold lap, opening DRS out of turn 14, now on the braking zone of turn 1. Now another zone of DRS, only one detection point, and it's before turn 14 for starting the lap. So now to the right part of the track, not attacking that much the apex because you need to carry the speed to the exit, and now trying to set the most straight line to this turn 4. You need to really take profit of these curbs. Now very important to not touch the curb on the inside of turn 5. Abusing the exit, you need really the traction. This chicane, really important to not validate on the inside. He really does that, and he really leaves the space there on the inside curb as Gadwin rejoins the session. Now very difficult to not invalidate there. He did it. He just went clean by. Now sector 3 is a very technical one, but it's very short as well, so you really need to tag all the curves and all the millimeters you can in order to not lose any thousand. Now on traction, it seems like he was adopting a little bit to put the throttle down. Probably can cost a little bit of time. Now on low ERS, opening DRS for last corner, very long corner, and it's a 14.4 as a banker. It's a very good banker, and now Green Goran will just slot behind him with a 14.5.
Nice time from him. Undertaker just behind them has just begun a lap. He's on the medium compound tires. Interesting to see the medium compound tires right now. We'll see what everyone is up to, as we're just 14 minutes left on this qualifying clock. It's very early in the session. Some of these drivers, as you said, getting a feel for circuit. Becario now to the line. He goes fourth quickest. Retanius, that racing point, leading this championship with 200 points right now, has some big plans today, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 13.783, which is a monumental time in comparison to his nearest rival at the moment, as Squid on that timing tower, 6/10 off of this racing point. We'll see what championship rival Adam will be able to do in this one, Daniel Munaf, as he has been a favorite who battled against Rutanius. They've been rivals all season long as well.
Yeah, they have been. They're battling a lot of time. Rutinius, a little bit of pace there on Silverstone. I think he was really suffering on that rain. Meanwhile, was Daniel really pushing on those wet conditions, as well as you said, DNFing on the session already.
Yeah, that's extremely unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo squad. I was speaking with Scars earlier today, Alex, and he's got some big expectations for the Alfa Romeo squad. He came across to tell me he does have big expectations in an Alfa Romeo podium today, and not only that, but he is expecting a double points finish for the squad. He did not have any comments on Tier 2 for tomorrow or Americas for tonight, but that is what he is expecting. So Scars in chat right now, not going to be happy with Adam with that early retirement. Dunk on you. A very nice time from him. He jumps into that second slot. It was a 14.375 from the Renault.
Yeah, Duncan, you're really pushing lately. I think he has taken at least one podium, or at least a good place there for points. He is not the most constant driver, the most consistent, but right now on second place, 14.3, and I'm really sure he can improve that.
Cactus coming through into the very unique turn 4, running purple through sector 1, and now we see turn 5, a little bit of a graze of that inside curbing. We call it the death curb. If you touch it, you'll see why.
Really pushing right now the Mercedes. I'm really wondering what these drivers are trying to select. For this is very, the conditions will be so shuffled between qualifying and race, and even though on the race itself will be as well very mixed, that they really don't know which setup to put, if the dry one or the wet one. We will see later. Probably some drivers will be having a good pace on qualifying and then probably falling down a little bit on the rain or on the dries. So right now Cactus putting himself into 8th position, as I think it was Lobel jumping into P2.
Well, that'll put a smile on Scars' face, certainly. It's put a smile on mine. The Alfa Romeo's now into the front row provisionally. We have 11 minutes remaining. Lavelle going to be happy about that with Daniel out of the session. Who else can we jump on board with? Well, the Spaniard Arrow partnering Cactus in the Mercedes. He's coming through the chicane.
And now we're really pushing on turn 8, turn 9. You really need to attack the curves, but be aware there on that curve to not go really far outside, so to not invalidate. As well as this one, you're really covering that speed. And as he sets a fastest sector, so probably can be a Visual Blitz, as we know always can appear that sector, that purple sector too. So at the moment, a yellow flag. I think someone spun there out of turn 13. It's Gadwin having an issue. It doesn't seem like it will be terminal damage, but now Arrow on last corner really pushing there. The force is trying to put the car on the outside line, and he will be just up into P3. Very good time for him.
Very nice from him, a 14-1. See who else can come through to set a time. Undertaker right now does not look to be pushing. Back row on an in-lap. Calm before the storm, Dirk Chocolate. He ran that P2 run, a 13.971. I had a couple of words with him. He has huge expectations for this race. He says he's going to be on that top step at the end of it. With that time, I'm inclined to believe him, given the fact that he's only within 0.2 of the championship leader, Rutanius.
Yeah, he's really putting the pressure on the Racing Point driver. At the moment, a very good lap time from the McLaren driver. If he has high expectations, probably he's really pushing hard, and we can see it on the tower.
Taking a look right now, Grenade Goran coming through turn 4. See what the Ferraris are able to do today. They have had an up and down season when it comes to the Tier 3 division, and I have to say the same about the Americas division, especially in my case. Things have been looking strong for them overall. in the combined constructors. We'll see what Grenade is able to do. He does have an accredited win in this division. He took it as a reserve around the Netherlands. We'll see what he's here able to do around the Hungaroring, now through into the final turn of turn 14. Good run. Solid improvement. 3/10 improvement from him. It gets him into 5th position, Alex.
Yeah, he ran out of deployment before turn 14, probably not saving on, well, between the laps. So right now it will be a P5, 80 minutes left, and I really think he can improve, as well as the other drivers right now, the top 4 still on the pits, waiting probably for this track to evolve a little bit on grip conditions. Right now Routine is actually on an outlap, just as I said that.
Yasko, the Red Bull driver, comes into 3rd position, pushing everyone back a notch. I was just checking in with Squid. He's in the Williams. He's on a run, and I believe Dunk on You in the Renault, also flying his teammate Unicorn just ahead of him, beginning a flyer. Dunk on You. He's been having a solid season. We'll see what he's able to do as he comes through turn 14. Again, another driver running out of that deployment, Alex, but he's good for an improvement of 2/10. 6th position for him. We'll switch to Squid coming through the penultimate turn.
He's managing better the battery. You can see there the green bar still there is out of deployment, and he will be jumping into P3. I think he was on P9, so a very good jump for him, because it's a massive improvement. Right now only 3/10 behind Routinius, and well, even less. Look at this grid, is very tight, Striff.
It is a very tight grid. Gap from 1st all the way down to 12th position is a 2nd to Cactus. And the drivers behind, we have known them to be quite quick in this grid, to be quite tight. So we'll see how things end up. We still have 6 minutes remaining here in the session.
Cactus was improving 5/10, but I think he invalidated out of one of the corners of Sector 2, as his teammate is really leaving everyone to go by. Cactus will go into the pits, probably change the tires, and try to set another fastest lap, as Routinius is on a flyer.
Maka looked as though he was on a flyer. He's opted to jump into the
Routinius
pit
is
lane.
off! Oh! He lost it! He lost it on the exit of turn 4.
Well, we have back row. We'll see if he can get a look. Oh, and there is the racing point, and that is a horrible collision. Or, well, a horrible crash, we'll say. Not a collision, unless you want to say it involved him and the wall. Which, I mean, it did, but very bad luck for Rutanius. That is going to be a jolt to his confidence. Dirk Chocolate right now. Well, Dirk Chocolate is on the move. And I have to say, he is looking good for a pole position with Rutanius now out of this session.
Let's see which is the time out of the second split, but he validates before. 1/10 was improving after doing that mistake on turn 11. He still has time to improve, but oh, that can be a really knock on his confidence.
That is definitely not what he wanted in this session at all. Dirk Chocolate with that invalidation. He will have to come in, get out, and do it all over again to try and beat that time. We'll see if anybody else has them, well, has the ability to do it. Arrow now to the line. Well, there it goes. And that has knocked Rutanius effectively out of pole position, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. And Arrow now happy with that 13.735. And it's a Spaniard in a Mercedes on pole position, and you can see the stripe on his helmet as he comes through into turn 2.
Mercedes on the top. I think I remember one last week. We'll see if it can happen again.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you were able to tune into Tier 1, you would have seen Alex Bitto with a fantastic win for Mercedes. Lavelle, with a bit of a struggle on his way into the pit lane, nearly went around again. Managed to get it turned around, but maybe a late call in there.
Alex, but now flying as well. I think he's not improving out of Sector 1. We'll see when he crosses the second split, as he went wide on turn 9, but I think he lifted before invalidate, so it won't count that as invalidation, but he went off track. So we'll see, but he's improving 2/10. Probably he can really improve to put himself into that top 10, as I saw someone crossing the line, but I don't think he was improving. So right now, Alex Butt on P12 will be crossing the line on a moment. opening DRS out of sector 3. It's just the last corner. It's a 14.1. It's a top 10 position. It's actually P8.
Very nice time from Alex. He'll be thrilled with that. Damon right now coming out of the final turn. What's he going to do in the McLaren? He's good for a 4/10 improvement. It's 11th, the 14.318 Cactus. Just ahead of him, beginning a flyer. They were quite close on these runs. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. Maybe Damon catching some dirty air. But Cactus now, we saw him in the top 10 earlier. You can see the track really ramping up. 3 minutes remaining in quali as he comes into turn 4.
That's a big improvement for sector 1. Right now the Mercedes really flying. We'll see on the other two splits as they are really difficult to maintain that speed.
Ooh. He's stepped in at Alex. He's gone red here, and he has invalidated his run. Not going to be thrilled about that, even remotely, as the Mercedes driver. Beccario, he invalidated his run, but it looks like he's set to go again.
It seems like he has fuel still, not the red light on the bottom right, so at the moment he should be safe. Probably a little bit of wear on those compounds of the south, but it doesn't seem like they will use it on the first stint, so it shouldn't be any issues, as we can see all the grid with that soft compound beautiful tire. I really like it for qualifying. Probably normally these drivers would select the mediums to do a better strategy, but as we have the rain, it doesn't seem like it will be happening.
That's right, we are going to have rain. If you're just tuning in, this is going to be a weather dynamic race, and well, those races present themselves as some of the best races we've seen this season. So make sure you share the stream, help us out, hit that follow button if you're new, and of course massive shout out to our partners Next Level Racing here, as we are just shy of 2 minutes remaining in this qualifying. My name is Strifium. Joining me all the way from Spain is Mr. Alex Biddo, and I am very excited to see how these racers do. It is a very solid-sized campaign around the Hungaroring. 35 laps, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there are 5 as Lobel now on P6 is on sector 2. I think he's flying, really pushing there on turn 9 and turn 10. You really need to maximize the entry and the exit of these corners, and as well taking care of the temperatures, but this is an invalidation on the last round for Lobel. Doesn't seem like he will be improving more on this session. Oh, and he was having a really good pace today.
Hold off for a Renault flying behind him. That was a Unicorn to the, well, to go into the pit lane here. Of course, just really quick, I'd like to say thank you so much to those who have hosted and rated today. Mr. Vegzit, as well as Ace Ritchie. Welcome into the stream, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. Dunk on You will be beginning a run as Unicorn into the pit lane now. Dirk Chocolate has retired, and it looks like he will not be able to do anything about Rutanius this time.
Either Jasko or Squid, they invalidate both on turn 4. So they have that map lit red, and at the moment it doesn't seem like they will do another run. But we'll see, but I really don't know what they are trying to do. Probably they are saving AEST to do another flyer.
Gadwin in the AlphaTauri now coming out of the final turn. No improvement, as it looks like he might just have begun a run. He did not catch the checkered flag, as a few drivers now have. Arrow, Squid, Yasko, Lavelle. Damon plays Unicorn. They have all caught the checkered flag. Tanius, Dirk Chocolate, Alex, Bud, Undertaker, Beccario, and Daniel have all retired.
Who was that? I think it was Cactus? Yeah, it was Cactus who just put a good lap. Now putting himself on P6. Arrow crossed the line as well, so he won't be improving. Squid Zasko either. Lobel either. Duncan Yu invalidates his lap while he was improving. Back row, it seems like the only driver who can take away that pole position for Arrow. We will see on last corner is turn 14 for the Red Bull driver opening DRS. He will cross the line and it's a 13.9. It's not enough. It's not enough, and it seems like pole position for Arrow.
Very nicely done there from Arrow. Very good time to get ahead of Rutanius. Rutanius, what a solid banker. he was able to get in here, and it has really paid off for him. He wasn't pushed back as far as I think there was potential to be pushed back. Arrow getting him out of that provisional pole position. Now Rutanius will start on the front row, just a little bit further back than he had wanted. What a qualifying session this has been. We'll take you through it. Arrow, pole position, the Spaniard, going to be thrilled. A 13.735 Rutanius with his banker, a 13.783, just 0.05 of a second off of the Spaniard, all things said and considered. Back row for Red Bull, a 13.932. He's just shy 0.2 from the pole sitter. Dirk Chocolate, fourth with Squid, rounding out the top 5 here. The gap from first all the way down to 15th position here around Hungary is, of course, in second. Daniel, position unfortunately having an issue in qualifying, seeing him without a time set. Well, we'll try to do it again and get ourselves into a nice race around Hungary, as we had a nice build up and then unfortunately the technical issue, but of course we'll do our best to get things going as we have all of these drivers loading in. Of course, a reminder to anyone who may be watching to load a setup, as something that can often occur with restarts is a driver failing to remember, hey, we didn't just come out of qualifying, I need to reload a setup. Back to the pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. The rain trickling down here in Budapest.
"35 laps of action. We're waiting for these drivers. It can be very good. We saw it on Silverstone. It was very intense at the end. We didn't know when it was going to dry up. Probably now we know it's going to dry up, as the weather, as I said, it's not going to be 100% the same as it was on the first session. So now starting this formation lap, Arrow on the intermediates, a little bit less of rain, as I said, but it's still raining, and it's still for inserts, and this driver still will have to suffer on this first turn.
As Alex previously mentioned, we do try to simulate the weather that the game presents us with when we do these restarts. However, it is very difficult to duplicate what this game sometimes throws at you. We are expecting to see dry conditions in this race.
The thing is when and how quick it will dry this track. I think that's the biggest question they have these drivers on the mind right now, as Arrow is going into the chicane of 6 and 7, warming those tires. The front should be very, very cold at this moment. It's enough rain to put the temperature down on these inters, and probably just the beginning of the formation lap they were freezing, but he's really warming up slowly.
Arrow, Rutanius back row, Dirk Chocolate, Squid your top 5, Yasko, Cactus, Lavelle, Duncan, New, Alex Bud rounding out the top 10. We have Maka, Grenade, Damon, Gadwin, Undertaker, Beccario, Unicorn, Moen, Linus, as well as Daniel on this grid.
Both AlphaTauri always this season long very close to each other, and well, I'm waiting for that comeback of Daniel Monov. He won on track on Silverstone, sorry, after that penalty of 3 seconds of track limits. He went he got back to P2, but right now starting last on the Alfa Romeo. Really excited for this race.
Well, here we are now. For the second time, the final driver in Daniel approaching this grid. Intermediate conditions for the well, the foreseeable future with a potential dry finale, as he is now assuming his 20th position on this grid. We move to the front end of things with Rutanius looking at Arrow. Here we have it. The lights are on, Alex. Or the engines are revving at the very least with the green flag. We'll see if the lights come on. And now Damon's had an issue. The lights are on. 4 or 5 lights here around Hungary. And finally now the drivers are away racing. We'll see about getting Damon back into the equation. Things can get tricky when an AI is in the starting of the grid. But of course now coming into turn 1, it is the Racing Point leading the McLaren. It looks like Rutanius has done exactly what he needed to do, and he's had a great launch off the line here. Arrow, not so much, as he's been overtaken by Squid and Dirk Chocolate. Yasko looking at him, and this is not what he needs. The Mercedes, who started this race on pole, he's dropped into 5th position, ladies and gentlemen. Squid, Yasko, wheel-to-wheel through turn 4. Sorry to interrupt you there, Alex. They're coming into turn 5. Yasko on the inside right now. He is going to dispatch this Williams. A little bit of a snap coming out of the rear. Arrow with the popcorn in the front row seat here. Back row on his rear, and it is a massive train through the chicane. And what action we're seeing here at the start of this race through Hungary.
Yeah, not the best start for the Spaniard right now on P5. Probably cold tires on those inserts. We don't know, but Dirk is holding that pace with Rutanius. A big of gap there between him and Zasko, who just has to correct and snap of oversteer out of turn 11. Now Squid, he lost a little bit of track there between him and Podium, and Arrow is really pushing, as well as Backrow on his back.
Alex Bud Linus right now, wheel to wheel. Alex Bud started this race in 10th position. He's holding for 10th position right now with Linus, who wants 9th. Alex with a good squeeze there on the Ferrari, but Linus has big plans for him. He holds it through on the inside, getting this Williams for the 9th position. And now we've had another shake of the timing tower.
Is Daniel there on P11 already? That's a massive start for him, as now he'll try the inside of Alex Bud. Linus really defending there on the outside, trying to squeeze the Williams. Better exit for the Ferrari, as Alex had a snap of oversteer on the exit. Now on the inside of turn 2, this will be very tight. Is Alex up into pin 9 and Backrow overtaking? No, sorry, it's time. It's timing tower.
Timing tower playing with us. We wanted to get a look for that. But of course, Alex Bud getting a nice move here on Linus into 9th position. Linus with a major cut of turn 4. He's on the rear of the Williams through turn 5. Daniel in 11th. He wants that final points paying position, and we have a car off. That is Unicorn coming out of turn 3 in the Renault, and he is, well, he's got a little bit of damage on the front right. It doesn't look massive, but it is going to hurt him. 15 seconds now behind the 19th position driver in Gadwin.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. He was trying to push hard, and he faced the consequences. As we can see now, Daniel trying to take a move on Linus on turn 12. It won't happen there, at least at this moment, as Cactus and Undertaker are still battling on that turn. So very clean racing for them.
Ooh, a little bit of a tap, maybe a catch of the curb there. Undertaker, he's been taken by his teammate, and Cactus will drive away. A little bit of a spin there coming through the penultimate turn of 13. Back row on the rear of Arrow into turn 1 right now. The rain really giving these drivers something to worry about on track, as Arrow, well, he started in this pole position, and now he is in 5th as Dunk on You gets ahead of Moen. Moen having a good run back at the Renault into turn 2. Through on the inside. Does he get this move done? Daniel and Linus battling just in front of them. Moen through on the Renault, or is he? A little bit of a wheel bang. There's going to be a big exposure to the Haas. Becario through into turn 4. Dunk on You holding with everything he's got.
That's a nice comeback. I thought he was going to lose that place, but now Dunk on You gaining on Becario after that contact with Moen on Holland on P12, and Lobo right now is very close at the back of Grenade. That's a massive train right now on the back of Squid. I think he's really losing the pace between his pace and Zasko. There's a really good difference.
One thing I would like to take your attention to here, Alex, is Dangerous Dickens. Of course, the McLaren Dirk Chocolate right now hunting down Rutanius for lead of this race. I talked to Dirk earlier today. He told me very clearly he was looking for a win here. Not just a podium, a win. And I'll tell you something, that win is very much in his grasp right now, setting the fastest lap of this campaign in a charge for the lead. It was a 29.310, and he has a little bit of a lockup coming into turn 1 here. Rutanius will be happy to see and hear those. But Rutanius definitely needing to worry about this McLaren right now. 2 seconds the gap to the nearest rival in Yasko.
The gap between Zaska and Squid really increasing on this last lap. I don't know if Squid has damage or something. It seems like the front end is good, at least for us. We'll see if Ara can catch after that loss of pace for the Williams driver. But right now, a really large train behind him. Now Daniel really close on Alex Bud. We'll see if we can try to move on this lap, but on inter conditions as this one, it's really difficult without the DRS.
Coming through the chicane now. Alex Buddy started this race in 10th. He'll be happy to be up a position, but he's not going to be happy about the fact that he has Daniel charging on him. However, the gap behind them to Linus is near 2 seconds. Linus with a penalty as well. Moen will be looking to catch up with him in the racing point behind that. With that big long train, as you said, there's a few pockets of drivers fighting here, but this train behind Linus, it is something to behold.
Yeah, meanwhile Unicorn, I think he pitted and changed that front wing. Now he only needs to really set a pace and be on that always, and probably pray for a safety car that can save this race.
What a race start it was. Rutania is going to be very happy after that qualifying to be in lead of things. Their Chocolate started this race in 4th position. Yasko Squid, they started 4th and 5th if I'm not mistaken. With a good start to this, getting ahead of Arrow. Yasko, the better start over Squid actually.
Now Daniel on the outside of turn 3, there's contact and Alex God will block the tires and save it to the wall, but he will be falling down on this timing tower. That's very lucky for him, but I really don't know what really happened, but he was pushing hard. Adam was on the outside and they touched.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I got the tail end of that as they came down through the turn, and we caught Alex as he went round. Very good of him to hold things on circuit there to allow the fast movers by, but it has cost him a very large chunk of time, and I imagine not a lot of nice things being said in the cockpit of that Williams at the minute.
He was having a good start. He was holding their places. He actually won one, and he was going to lose that because Daniel was on the outside line of turn 3, and he was having the run, very good run. Now he's up 11 positions now on the points and really trying to catch his teammate.
Gap to leader right now from first all the way down to Gadwin, 24 seconds, a little bit more so for Alex, but a great deal larger to Unicorn. Fastest lap, a 29.241 out of Daniel in 9th, and well, who'd believe otherwise? He's made up 11 positions in this race so far. He is on a charge. Naka and Damon wheel to wheel.
Ooh, that's very close, Trip. That's very close. There's contact a little bit, not enough for any major issue. He will understeer on the exit of turn 3, and Cactus, it's not that far enough. Sorry, that close enough to do that move, but still, it seems like he's understeering so much that McLaren, I don't know if he has damage.
Yeah,
yes,
he
has.
does. The front left end plate is missing on Damon Plays' McLaren right now. This will be very good for the drivers behind him. Potentially inherit position, Cactus, Undertaker in close proximity.
Sasko closed the gap between him and P2. 1.5 was when he crossed the line to start lap 6, and now 0.7 between him and Dirk Chocolate, so really closing on those leaders.
Yeah, this is very dangerous now if you're Rutanius and Dirk. You were 2 seconds ahead of this Red Bull, and suddenly he is setting the fastest lap of the race behind you at 29.143 for Yasko. He is within a very close range, and I think Dirk now, he understands he's being held up potentially here by Rutanius. He needs to really get on it here in this McLaren potentially and get that lead of the race, as Damon now has had an unfortunate issue. He has disconnected from the session. And that AI time has now come through a 25.311, which is, well, it's a very fast time, but I am afraid to say it's
what I
not
saw,
legit.
Beccaria and Duncan, you losing the rear. Maka on the inside of his teammate. Beccaria, I don't know if he crossed the lower or he didn't see Maka coming, but almost spinning the Haas. There was contact between teammates, and that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, Maka, Beccaria. Maka not going to be happy about that. Maka right now taking a look at the front end for damage as Dunk on You's had an issue. The car has gone round out of turn 4 and he is facing the wrong way. Dunk on You not going to be even remotely happy about this. Dunk on You in the Renault now. He will recover to 18th position. Alex Budd just 4 seconds shy of this Renault for a potential position gain in the back end of this grid. Massive shout out to F1HL Drake E. 26, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you so much for the raid and welcome in, everyone. We're here for Tier 3 MRL action. It's round 13 Hungary. And we are on lap 8 of what is supposed to be a wet to dry campaign. My name is Strifium, and joining me is Alex Bitto, all the way from Spain.
I need to tell you something, Strip. I really need to tell you something. And Zasko is losing a lot on the straights. So I really don't see Zasko overtaking these leaders unless they do a big mistake, probably contact between them, as Dirk is really closing Rutinius. We need to say that Rutinius was practicing traction control off this week, and now with the wet is a really, really good test to see if that practice is worked.
One thing to talk about is tire strategy here. We've looked at these intermediates this entire race as the timing tower is being reset. Lavelle takes a 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings. Damon Plays is now back in session. We know that because the timing tower reset. But one thing to talk about is the tire strategy here. These intermediates for sure cannot go to the end of the race. Are we going to see a switch to inners? And then if we get that dry weather, the inners to the end? Do you think anyone turns them into those hybrid inner slicks? Or do we see the dry tires come out here? And that's a big question mark right now, lap 8 into this race.
I only know the Red Bulls really liked it to have the interslicks on Silverstone. Actually, one of them, Zasko, who was leading the squad, had a puncture on the rear left, so probably he will risk it again. But on Hungaroring, a track where you really wear these tires a lot, I really don't think we will see a no-stop on this race.
What I'm going to talk about is that these top 3 right now with a very good reserve of battery at their disposal, and such is the case around Hungary, it is very, very difficult to get battery back when you lose it. However, the rain conditions providing a bit of a different scenario, a little bit easier to get battery back in these wet conditions. Arrow right now.
Certain Turbo, I think it was Daniel very close on Green and Goran. He's really pushing 12 places gain as Demon plays after a lot of issues with the PC, and well, we hate to see it, and he will have to retire the car on the pit lane. He doesn't want to let the AI mess around this track, so very good to see that, but on the same time, very unfortunate.
It's a very good decision from Damon. He knows he's having technical issues. It could have presented us with an AI car on track. He's coming in and he's unfortunately taking that bullet and he's retiring the car, which is amazing sportsmanship from him. Yasko down the inside of Dirk Chocolate right now through turn 12. He has a look. He does not get the move done, however, on the McLaren. And, well, this will give Dirk a little bit of a breathing space. It takes a little bit to recover from moves in the wet.
Just look now, compare the straight and speed. Everyone is on the extreme there except Rutinius, and he's losing. Daska's losing time with Dirk a lot on the straights, and you really can see it. It's visually there.
Yeah, he's showing great pace today. Yasko, Dirk on the rear of Rutanius. Rutanius, of course, he's been having a dominating season. 200 points now in lead of this championship. His teammate his teammate Moen is being hunted by Beccario into turn 1.
He's really close, locking the front left, the Spaniard. Now he'll try a better exit out of turn 1, but these tricky conditions are really affecting on the driver. They're really adopting and putting the throttle down as early as they can, and you can see it. We are not seeing that much overtakes because they really want to keep the car on the track.
Being told in the chat we have a potential dry weather on the horizon here. The rain may be starting to lighten up. We're on lap 10 out of 35. We'll see what the strategy call is from some of these racers.
Yeah, it can be at a point where some drivers will not risk it and put hards probably, or some other drivers will put mediums and try to stretch that stint to the end. So it really can shuffle this grid with the difference of strategies right now. Everyone on those inters and a lot of gaps closing. We see different pockets on this map. As you can see, the top three. Then after that, you have Squid, from Squid to Lobel, and a really good gap between Lobel and Linus, and another train.
Yeah, that gap between Linus and Leva, 10.5 seconds right now. That final points position being held by the Ferrari. Grenade in 7th position, the partnering Ferrari. We have the Alfa Romeos 8 and 9, both Red Bulls in the top 10. Dirk Chocolate, as well as Squid there. We have a solid diversity in the top 10 right now.
Vicario really close again.
Yeah, that turn 1, he keeps looking at the rear of that racing point, wanting that position. Cactus, Undertaker with a drag race out of turn 1 into turn 2 now. Cactus on the inside of the AlphaTauri in the wet conditions. Who has the better line through here? It's Cactus with the dry line. Right now, Undertaker, however, tight on the inside, trying to hold there. Cactus around the outside will dispatch this AlphaTauri. What a battle.
Very good racing. We're seeing the moves there. We had bad luck for the Williams driver Alex Butt there on turn 3, but still a lot of action seems is bringing turn 2 and turn 3.
Nice racing for sure. Daniel, Grenade. Things are tight between the Alpha and the Ferrari. See if anything comes out of this tight equation here.
They're really, really close, and Dirk probably is going to try it now, but Virginius has a lot of straight line speed. Look at Dirk. He's not even going to put the nose there. Almost contact between him and the back of the racing point. Zaska will try to put the throttle down as early as possible, but it's... Ooh, a snap of oversteer for the Red Bull driver. He has to correct it, and he's not going to have this move now.
Arrow, Squid. Exit out of turn 1, heading into turn 2. Squid on the inside right now. Arrow with his fronts to the rears of the Williams. A little bit of a shift in direction as we come through the turn. Arrow not too far behind this, and back row not too far behind this, hunting down Arrow as well, and Arrow can't take too many risks, or back row will be there to potentially inherit position. Grenade. The train, as we said, it's in full force here. Arrow on the outside of Squid.
He closed the door, and it was very good defending for the Williams. Now Arrow will try to take another look, I guess, on another turn, as background green runner really pushing for a mistake on the guys that they have ahead.
Very tight racing, wet conditions, hard overtaking circuit right now, and that just spells out intensity if I've ever seen it. And well, Daniel now looking at Grenade. Does he look for a lunge on the inside into 12? No, he does not. But he is tight to that Ferrari. We saw him come through 13 last time, tight to the Ferrari, and we'll see if he has an opportunity into turn 1. The leaders now back to the front of the equation. Rutanius still with Dirk on the rear. Dirk not quite the same opportunity he had last time. Yasko not doing anything on the rear of Dirk himself.
This is really... Squid there on P4, not having probably the same pace as the top 3, is really securing the podiums to these top 3 drivers, at least at the moment, lap 13 of 35. But, well, it's really a relief. You have a lot of breathing space if you're Zask or if you're Dirk. If you do a little mistake, you will only lose 1 place.
Yeah, I agree. Right now, Daniel, within 2/10 of Grenade. The rain is still coming down into turn 4. And we'll see now. We have an exchange here as we come through turn 2. Moen, Beccario now through turn 3. Moen gets off the throttle, looks to have another shot at Beccario into turn 4. Beccario in 11th for now. But things are tight all throughout this grid, and the more of these risks being taken, the more opportunities for the drivers behind. Moen with a dance with the inside curb there.
Cactus did actually the same thing, and actually, well, he went sideways and he corrected. Maka now really close on the back of Mo, and he really wants to do the same as his teammate. Beccario now trying to push to catch Linus, and well, I really think he can do it if he did it with Moen, but it was hard work till that overtake. And Vicario will try to do exactly the same with Linus, and then trying to break that gap between him and Lovell, the other train ahead.
Things are so tight. I'm still looking between Grenada and Daniel as we come through the straight into turn 1. Daniel was having a look, but things are so tight. No DRS right now in the equation for these drivers into turn 1, of course, with the rain, and that can make things very difficult. Dunk on You and Gadwin have had some kind of exchange, it would appear. I don't know if there's lag playing a role. I just switched and saw these cars shuffle. Maka, Moen.
Cactus as well. Cactus as well there. Maka having a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Cactus will not find the line. Oh!
There's a tap from Cactus. He's gone into the rear of Maka. This has put Moen round. Are we going to see any kind of VSC as a result? Debris did come off a couple cars now as Dunk on You, the Renault driver, trying to get a front end view of the front right of that car right now. This Renault, I think, just took an end plate off. Someone did for certain.
Cactus and Maka. Cactus and Maka. I think Cactus tapped Maka. Maka Moen. Moen then was sideways. So, well, it was a double tap there at the back of Moen. Really, really unfortunate. But the grip seems like it's not there on braking.
Something is going on here in the back of this grid, I feel, with a connection. I keep switching between Dunk on You and Gadwin, and I feel like there might be some kind of desync. But we'll have to take a look at that shortly, as there's still this fantastic battle, this absolute grudge match for the potential race win between these three. Rutanius, Dirk Chocolate, and Yasko, all within a second and a half.
Cactus and Maka jumping into the pits after that damage really going to cost them, because they only have the choice to pit 4 inters, as Cactus I think sped on the pit lane, but I'm really not sure about that. But they will be putting a new front wing and new intermediates, so they will be saved only if these drivers have to pit again for new inters. But I really don't know where is the Gravener now.
Vicario getting the better of the Ferrari. Linus now dropping into 11th position. There is a major gap for Vicario to now work down to potential points ahead, but he is in that final points position. Linus potentially looking for an inside gap there. I'm not entirely sure, but it has compromised his run through turn 5.
Galvin and Duncan you as well battling. I think Duncan you got the place on turn 2 and then turn 3, defending so good. Now he'll try to do the same with the other AlphaTauri, but I'm really not sure if Galvin had damage. It doesn't seem like. On our end, Zasko will be pitting, so it should be for inserts. This is still so wet for changing 2 dries.
This is a very interesting call.
Is a very good undercut. He thinks the intermediates of the first stint will not be stretched enough to go to the dry condition, so he will pit now for insert as well as squid, and then try the undercut on the rivals.
This is huge. This is a major monkey wrench in any kind of potential strategy Rutanius and Dirk Chocolate could have been thinking of. Do they have options here, or do they have only the option to call him on this?
If they really push, I think they can protect, but Zasko is showing so good pace. So I really don't know, as they have an exchange between Daniel and back row. Daniel on the inside of turn 2, now fully ahead on turn 3. Very good move from him. He started last on this race, lap 16 overtakes by him.
We'll have to see how these things play out here. Daniel within range of arrow already in this train. Back row in 5th position. Lavelle 6th. Yasko now. He is 3.5 seconds. It was nearly 4.5 seconds a few moments ago. These intermediates, fresh rubber, are going to be showing such pace in comparison to the worn tires on the drivers ahead. We'll see what Rutanius and Dirk Chocolate do now. They're coming through the final, well, the penultimate turn. Do they pit here? Rutanius, he is staying out. Dirk is staying out. Does anybody pit and try to call this strat? We saw Squid, Grenade, they came in. We saw Maka, Cactus, Undertaker, some pit for damage, some pit for tires. We'll have to see how it plays out in the end here, but one thing's for certain, Yasko is hunting down the gaps to these drivers ahead. Nearly 2 seconds remaining. The gaps to the drivers ahead. Lavelle says it's time to come in.
Yeah, I think Daniel didn't have the best in-lap possible, so probably will try to do another one, or probably just only splitting strategies. That can be a thing. So Lovell has well, 2 stints on inserts, and Daniel will try to put this to the dryers. I think that should be the plan. And the leaders now don't answer to that undercut of Jasko. They're probably trying to do the same.
Gap to leader, 18.5 seconds for the Red Bull. And now we have some exchanging as there's a little bit of action for Lavelle coming out of the pit lane here. He's come out between Duncan Yu and Moen, still on their starting compound of tire. They'll want to cut through this traffic very quickly.
Grenade Goran as well, I think he pitted. I don't know when, but well, he's right behind Squid. And I think Squid was ahead of him before pitting, but they are both closing a lot and rapidly to the cars that didn't pit. But I really think it's too late to pit to answer to that undercut. But Dirk will pit.
Well, this is a big call coming out of the McLaren squad. He needs to get that car slowed down, and he does. Very, very important not to take any kind of penalty on your way into the pit lane. Now Rutanius in lead of this race with nobody in the rear view mirrors for the first time since it began. And we'll see what he is able to do without that pressure.
Are doing the same, Vicario as well. They are all now answering. Just when I said it was too late, probably it wasn't too late. Oh, 4 seconds is the loss of 2 laps only between Dirk and Jasko. Jasko will be ahead 4.4 seconds.
That's huge.
And he was half a second behind before pitting.
That's huge for Jasko here. Absolutely massive. And I'll tell you something, the gap now to the leader, 16 seconds. Rutanius is losing time, a lot of it. And because Dirk has pit, I think Rutanius only has one option here, and he's going to have to maybe call him on that before he loses that McLaren, who is just in his rearview mirrors. Where does he come out? He's just coming through turn 12. Excuse me, turn 11.
I think he needs to save this stint. Yeah, I really don't know where are the tires at the moment in terms of wear. But if it's really high, of course he has to pit. But if he thinks the track is going to dry up soon, yep, he's staying out. So I think he really needs to drive carefully. But Jasko's it's just a pit stop ahead of his teammate.
I think back row there. Jasko, team orders, letting him through, I imagine. No one fighting there, and that's just even more so to Jasko's benefit in this strategy, because now back row, let's say he's on the opposite strategy, which we've seen these Red Bulls do previously. We think of Britain, of course, where they had that long stint. He could sit out here, wait for dries on these intermediates, and try and hold up that McLaren. Here goes Linus into the pit lane as Squid has Grenade on his rear still. Arrow not far off of them.
What an undercut for Grenade. On Arrow, not on Squid though. I think he pitted on the same lap as the Williams driver, but Arrow lost the place between his rivals. So at the moment it's P8, and only back row and Daniel, as well as Rutanius, yet to pit on this top 8.
This has been a very thrilling race for strategy when you look at it, because I imagine, like you said, these undercuts really paying off for some of these drivers. A little bit of surprise for maybe a few of them when they come in, and to find themselves in these positions a little bit further back, in Arrow's case being behind these guys because of that undercut.
Now I'm going to tell you something. Lovell, since he pitted, he went just behind Duncan Yu, do you remember, on the exit, and now he has not been able to overtake him. Duncan Yu at the moment with 18 lap old tires, inters of course, and now Lovell really suffering to catch and overtake this Renault, as Daniel will pit on this lap. That's really late. I'm really not sure what he's trying to. He will lose a lot of time between him and Squid, who was the one who pitted first on that train.
Could he be going for dries? No, it's inners. So this is well, this is a very interesting call from now Daniel. We'll see what happens and where he falls out here. Squid coming down the straight.
Oh, that's a massive overcut. Oh, that worked nicely for him.
I'd agree with you there, yeah. Comes out ahead of Squid.
What an uppercut. That shows the pace he had. on this train, and now he has unleashed it as Becario will go on the inside of Alex Bud. Alex Bud still holding the outside line, but Becario fully ahead. Alex Bud really suffering on 19 lap old intermediates. Better traction for the Spaniard, of course, and he will be up into P12.
Very nice move there. Clean racing by the pair of them with the worn compound tires as well. Oh, Alex with the worn tires, Becario with the fresh rubber. Alex doing a solid job. Keep it clean on the exit there. We saw him have a little bit of a wobble. Not easy to drive in the wet conditions with 19 lap old tires.
It's still raining the same, I think. I think it's not stopping. And well, Rutenius, we'll see on the next lap which is the gap, but right now it's 10.9 between him and his rival who pitted. 20 lap old injured versus 4 lap old injured for Zasco.
Dark Chocolate on the rear of back row. We'll see now as he has a big lunge through in turn 2. I'm not sure if contact was made between the pair of them as back row holds on to third here. A little bit of a shake coming out of the rear of that Red Bull now. You can see the traction differential between the McLaren and the Red Bull, and I think Dirk is trying to adjust to it right now.
This is critical. This is critical right now for back row and Rutenius. As well as Zasco, of course, he's really stretching that gap between him and the rival he had behind. It was 4.4 when he rejoined after pitting, the McLaren driver, and now it's around 6.2 and losing time.
Losing a ton and taking a penalty while he's at it. He's just stepped his foot in it, Alex. He's just really taken a 3-second time penalty on the rear of this Red Bull, and I have to say, the Red Bull master plan coming in beautifully here for back row to play rear gunner for Yasko. Yasko on the fresh rubber now. He is bringing that gap down to Rutenius. It was 10 seconds a few moments ago. It's now 9 seconds. The tire differential massive here.
Oh, look at the grip. Look at the grip there on the front for the Brits driver. Now really trying to push. He has overtake button as well as back row. But it seems like this Red Bull has more straight net speed than his teammate.
He has lost 1 second to Yasko in the last sector alone. Look at the gap between back row and Yasko. That is what you need to look at right now, and that will just give you an indication of how much time Dirk is truly losing here, because he's within half a second of this Red Bull. The back row is losing half a second per sector as it stands right now.
Squid is losing 1 second per sector, I think, with Daniel as well. Daniel really pushing hard. Of course, Dirk has traffic, as we can see, but Daniel has amazing pace. It seems like probably the fastest driver right now on these conditions, as are almost losing the rear out of turn 3. Hungaroring as well pushing Squid. Squid doesn't seem like he's comfortable on these conditions.
Definitely been an adjustment for a lot of these drivers, and the question that everyone has been asking themselves this entire race is, when is this rain going to stop, and when is the sunshine and dry conditions going to turn up?
Yeah, and the lap differential of the rubber of these drivers can really take benefit to the one who has fresher tires at the end of this second stint. We probably can see Jasko falling down after all of this second stint, and probably they're catching later, but it's only 3 laps.
He needs to go here. Tire. He's burning the battery, Alex. He needs to get this move on the Red Bull. He's looking to that inside. Here he goes for the lunge. Does he get this move done? A lockup on the front left. He's on the inside through turn 1 now. A bit of a squeeze there from the McLaren over on back row, but he has now finally, ladies and gentlemen, Dirk Chocolate has finally dispatched the Red Bull into third position, but he has already been hurt. The damage has been done. We'll have to see what he's able to do about it. He has a 3-second time penalty and a 7-second gap to the rival Yasko ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's not only 3 seconds that he lost, it was actually 6 with that penalty. So we'll see if that can cost him massively at the end. At the moment, shouldn't, as back row is really, really struggling on this 22 lap all inters, and I think it's stopping raining.
It's very, very light, the rain right now. I think we're just starting to see maybe a bit of spray coming off the rear of cars. course, we don't have as many particles as we once did on the stream due to the endurance series on Saturday. Alex Budd looking for a move. Moen with an issue through turn 5. Alex Budd absolutely mugs him as a result. Linus is looking for an opportunity into the chicane. Does he get this move on the... oh, he gets it around the outside, Linus. And is there damage on Moen's car? No. It's the tires. The tires are just gone.
No rain already. There's no rain. This can be massive for Rutinius. It's 4.3 the gap between him and Zasko, who beat it. 7-lap old. Fresh air enters now. Maka on the inside of Moen. He will try it on the turn 12. He cuts a little bit to the inside. That surely is a warning. But now he's up into P14. Oh, that's beautiful racing. But Moen is really suffering. 22 laps. Old inserts. The same strategy as his teammate. But look at the snap of overseat out of turn 13.
He just swallowed that corner, Maka. Just said, yeah, you know, I know there's a turn there, but the 3-second, yeah. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that one. Just all smiles for me. That was pretty funny to see.
There's Chocolate closing the gap, but not enough. I think it was only 3/10 on that last lap. Global steal on the back of Duncan Yu. Duncan Yu doing an amazing strategy. The same strategy as doing back row and Rutinius, as well as teammate Moen, and well, Alex Budd is still holding there after that contact he had on the first laps. So I think that was the only strategy available for him.
This is huge for Alex Budd if this is going now to a dry circuit.
Rutinius into the pits. Rutinius into the pits. We will see. I think it's too early. I think it's too early. We will see if the DRS disables now on a brief moment. It's mediums.
It's mediums for him. This is going to be huge. The position changes in this race massive for everybody. And what is the call going to be? Was it time to come in back row? Let's see back row. He's on this alternate strategy as well.
Oh, I don't think it's now. I don't think it's now. Oh, there's no grip on turn 1. He's light on the outside line. He's really struggling on this throttle. 4.9, 5.0, 5.3, 5.4. And that's the gap. Stretching even more.
Oh, it's hard to see this, Alex. It is hard to see this when these calls come through. Of course, I talk about this all the time, ladies and gentlemen. It is so hard to distinguish the difference between the track settling in for the dries versus the wet tires being too worn to carry on. And I think Rutinius might have made the wrong gamble here. Alex Budd carrying through. Everybody that's on these dry compound tires, or the wet compound tires, excuse me, still carrying through. Nobody has opted to pit yet, with the exception of Rutinius.
I have to tell you something. It's that or having a puncture. I don't think Rutinius wanted to have that. But it's, I think, 5 seconds already on only 1 sector and a half. Lost already. Squid on the outside. Green Current will try to do the same. Rutinius, I think, he's really not even fighting. He only wants to keep the car safe at this stage. Arrow as well on the inside. Turn 12.
When this happens, I want to ask you, because I know you've been in situations similar. When this happens and you make this call, what's going through your head?
You really only want to keep the tires alive. That's your big concern. It's only keep the car on track. No, don't have damage. Just try to go as fast as you can, but just don't overreact, because you can lose the rear very easily, or just go wide on a corner and just have a mistake like Hamilton had on Imola.
Undertaker on the rear of Moen right now. He was looking at the inside. Moen in 16th holding off the AlphaTauri. We had a good view on the rear wing of the Racing Point. We'll have to see as pit stops start to come through. It looks like Unicorn has opted to jump onto the medium compound tires as well. Moen on the 24, now 25 lap old intermediates will be crossing into the pit lane. We'll see if he is getting onto a set of the mediums also, as Rutinius has now dropped into 10th position, and he is continuing to drop and drop through this grid. When are these dries going to be the optimal tire? Alex Budd has also made the decision to get in, and I think it has been now puncture territory for these tires, Alex.
Has to be 26 lap on intro as Rutinius slides on turn 6 and has to take the runoff area. Daniel Monaf right now, his rival really close on the back of Backrow, but Backrow really knows, I think, how to save the tires. He did it on Silverstone and he's trying to do it again, but on a difficult track to do it. Vicario jumping into points position after overtaking Rotenius, and Aaron Greenthorne still very close to the back of Squid.
This is very hard if you are the Racing Point driver right now. Daniel now with a smooth operation up the inside
Alex
of back
Budd.
row, and we have got a yellow flag as Alex Budd on these dry compound tires has spun coming through turn 4. This is unfortunately the second time we have seen that Williams around today.
You can see how difficult it is to do it and how well Rotenius is trying to maintain that car. They're on track 11.7 seconds slower per lap. It seems like Rotenius is going at the moment. That's massive. I actually think was I really don't know what to do right now. If I'm him as Unicorn, have a massive snap. Linus on the inside of Maka on turn 1. He will try to hold it. Maka, oh, what a snap of oversteer. But Linus, I think, lifted because probably he thought it wasn't the cleanest move from him.
Good sportsmanship there if that was the case. Very abrupt slowdown, however. He was nearly stationary on track. That I wouldn't recommend doing that too many times.
I'm just trying to check the rears of all of these. Oh, Alex Budd lost it again. Back row on the pits. We will see what he's putting. Probably he's putting inserts and trying to go to the end, but we will see. I think this is still very wet.
Well, I'll tell you, Rotenius
Aaron to the pits
with a huge gamble here. Soft compound tires to the end here. Is it time for the dries? I imagine he has no other option. If it was a puncture risk, it was no other option for him.
Aro had the option and he pitted. Oh, he has damage. Oh, the Mercedes driver has damage. The pole sitter for today has damage and he will be pitting.
Alex Budd is struggling massively here now. Finally, after I think 2 or 3 spins on this previous lap, he has taken front end damage on the right hand side. We'll have to see now. I think he might get lapped. There's fast movers coming through behind him, as I believe that might be Dunk on You. Yes, it is Dunk on You and Lavelle moving through, having a fight.
It's not for softs. Back row is really struggling. 1.5 seconds left on first sector, and Beccari is closing that gap. Should be the first podiums for the Spaniard on this season. Look at the traffic ahead of them. It's Godwin on the outside, on the dry compound, and Beccari on the inside. Will try the move. It's easy as you like on those inserts. No grip for the dry condition, for the dry softs.
This has been such a dynamic race. We have not seen anything quite like this just yet in MRL. I think back to when we had a major tire shuffle a few races ago where we saw the entirety of the grid switch to the wrong compounded tire. Well, half of the grid, we'll say, but this is really hard to watch as now we've had a massive issue. Arrow on the exit has gone into the wall. He has clipped those tires, and ladies and gentlemen, on lap 29, we have a safety car deployed.
This is massive for Dirk. Dirk has a penalty of 3 seconds, and Daniel will be closing that gap massively. Duncan, you're pitting global pitting. You will pitting for what? For what? That's the question. Because Inter seems like they are working now. And yeah, it seems like Inter's for the Reynolds drive. No, actually softs. That's really risky. He's going for, he really wants to take this win.
Unicorn.
He really wants to take this win.
Unicorn just took a drive-through penalty. Godwin has retired his car in the pit lane. This could be very, very bad for Undertaker.
Or for Jasko, because Backrow is there on P6, and if the correct situation is for the rise, for the dry compound at the moment, it can be a win for Backrow if he can clear the traffic.
A major hold-up here for the AlphaTauri driver as Godwin has chosen to retire his car. Linus, 5 seconds for a severe collision with Beccario under these conditions as well. Not entirely sure what's occurred there, but you can see a major tire change coming through.
Jasko pitting, Dirk pitting. It's for softs. Everyone is on softs. And I really don't think it's the correct strategy, as Daniel Monov will stay out following the Delta. Oh, this is very dangerous. We don't know which is the best situation.
What a race this has really developed itself into, Alex.
Daniel on the lead. Jasko was losing the rear on the exit of that pit lane. Can the Alfa Romeo driver do a last to first on Hungaroring on wet to dry conditions?
This is going to be unbelievable if it does. It'll be the drive of his career, Alex. I don't think that's in contest if he does it. 19 positions, ladies and gentlemen, for Adam in lead of this race. He is on the intermediate compound tire. The driver's behind him on the softs, and we do not know what the situation is. What's happened to the Ferrari?
He's off on turn 13, I think it was. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He was on points. He was probably on one of the best situations as well as Daniel. But right now, is everything gone for the Ferrari driver? Everyone is bidding for softs. Only Daniel, Maka, and Linus still on those inserts. And I haven't seen the DRS enabled race control sign.
When we set out for round 13 today, I don't think anybody would have predicted a race like this, Alex. Not a chance. I didn't. Did you?
I didn't. What I want to say, or ask to the chat if they know is the DRS enabled or disabled?
Well, it's safety car conditions, my friend, so we won't even have an idea. We won't even have an idea. We might not even see the DRS come through, even if it is dry conditions, depending on how long we see the safety car go here. This field is so separated right now. Look at the gaps right now, gap to leader. It is so separated. Daniel Monov is in.
What?
A crash potentially.
I saw him sliding.
5 seconds on the way in. This is not what he needed to do. He will not serve this. He will not serve this. You do not serve it if you take it on the way in. This is absolutely horrendous now.
Damage.
This has gone from an amazing to a very, very unfortunate situation for the Alfa Romeo squad. And I have to say, Lavelle will inherit a position from his teammate here. But this is not what this driver needed even remotely.
The Red Bulls are there. Maka is speeding. Linus is speeding. Everyone now is on dry compounds. So probably Inter was not the option.
What are we seeing?
Spray. There was no spray now on this lap, on this track. And you can see it. It's dry. It's dry as the desert.
Oh my. This is a situation like I have never seen before. Alex Budd has retired the car, Alex. Oh my.
Yeah. I think he wasn't lapped. He wasn't lapped.
I am beyond blown away by this race. This has presented us with such a dynamic race. The wet conditions, the confusions, the safety car, the tire differential, the spins, the drama. Welcome to Tier 3. It's the Hungarian Grand Prix.
This is massive for the Red Bulls. George Chocolate has a 3-second time penalty. Safety car will not be on this lap, it seems. And there has a penalty that can cost a lot of time for him. He really needs to push. And Zasko probably will try to hold Dirk in order to make the McLaren driver lose positions. But at the same time, he has Squid there, which is a rival on the championship for Zasko and back row. So I really don't know what Zasko will try. Probably only push to the end, take the fastest lap as well, and take this win for Red Bull.
Some of these drivers are going to have to do some serious thinking and fast on this grid as Dirk with that penalty. Of course, we have Rutanius in 8th position, formerly the leader of this campaign, off the line. He is going to want to really make up some position, and now with this entire grid, with the exception of Unicorn, really bunched up together. Well, I think anything can happen, especially for the drivers without penalties. As we look at the penalties now, some a little bit more than others. We have Dirk with 3 seconds, Lavelle with 3 seconds, Daniel with 5, which we saw him take on the way into the pit lane. Maka with 3, Linus with 9 seconds. We have Cactus with 12 seconds, Undertaker with 3 seconds, and Unicorn, well, he's got one of the worst penalties you can get. He is a drive-through penalty, and that won't even begin to cover what he may have hiding behind that. But we know that he will have to serve that drive-through penalty or risk disqualification.
It seems like not only 5 seconds for speeding, but as well he cut at the entry. I mean, Daniel Monov. So this can be him outside of the points from a potential win. And the safety car, it seems like, should be on this lap, I think. Only waiting for Unicorn, but I think he will be close enough probably to have it on this lap. So lap 33 as the first green flag racing after this safety car that just, well, massive spark for this action.
Yasko, Dirk Chocolate, back are your top three right now. 2 out of 3 of the top drivers in the Red Bull, of course, and we have Squid in 4th position, which is, well, just 1 position up from where he began this race. Dunk on you at 4 positions here, and now we're just going to get things going as Yasko will lead us to this restart. Dirk Chocolate on the rear of him. Dirk wants to have a great exit here. He needs to catch this Red Bull perfectly. Yasko, throttled down now, is away, and we are back to green flag racing here around Hungary. Squid with a solid start. Dirk not quite going to have an opportunity. Does he have it on back row? Around the outside now, the Williams. Big squeeze coming out of the Red Bull here. Dunk on you has a seat to this action. A big shuffle of big exchanges. Back row getting a little bit squirrely. He's looking at Squid. Squid now not sure what's happened. Maybe letting back row back through.
The Alfa Romeos. Daniel will almost spin, he saves it. Now Beccario and Maca overtaking him. Rotenius will take both of the places, but it seems like an illegal overtake for the racing point. Beccario on the inside, Linus will hold the outside and will go in the runoff area. Cactus on P11, and Daniel losing some spots after Rotenius.
Cactus has gone off, he's gone round at turn 5, he's gone into the wall, and that is going to be a major drop for him through this grid.
For a reason, it seems like Squid has a 3-second time penalty that will cost him the podium. Right now on P4, trying to catch back row, and back row right now has a breathing space of those 3 seconds. Now Duncan on P5.
Oh,
try to get
what a lunge! Daniel with a massive lunge on Beccario. They're wheel to wheel as we come through into turn 13. Around the outside is Daniel. Oh, what a battle we are seeing here for these final few points. 8 and 9 battling it out right now. Squid now with a run on the exit. He's looking at back row, back for 3rd position. He is going to get this done. We're going to switch back to Adam. Daniel Monoff. I got to stop calling him Adam there, Alex. Up the inside now, Maca. Does he have an answer here? Beccario, his teammate, on the rear of this exchange. Might he have a run?
Look at the gap between Squid and Dirk Chocolate. It's 2.5. Both they had 3-second time penalty, so Dirk really needs to push that half second to not lose the podium. Right now on P2, and really pushing hard on Jasko. It's only 2 tenths between both of them.
Daniel's just stepped in it once again here, Alex. He's taken 3 seconds. We have Dirk within 3 tenths of Jasko hunting down this Red Bull. Very intense racing here between the front runners as there is a huge gap forming. As you said, Squid, 2.3 seconds on the rear of this exchange. Jasko, the last thing he needs right now is a penalty as we're on the penultimate lap. We're coming through into turn 13. We have another yellow flag being sparked, and I'm afraid to say it's a unicorn.
On the inside of Lovell. Rotenius on the inside of Lovell in turn 12. What a move from the racing point. No penalties for him. Just fully ahead before turn 13. His teammate, the teammate of Lovell, now pushing, almost hitting the rear, but Maca will take the inside of turn 14. Now, last lap of this race, they are side by side, both utilizing that overtake button, and Beccario will try to be as well. Very, very close of this action side by side between Daniel and Maca. Daniel is low on battery, but Maca on the inside will try to hold it. This is very intense racing.
Very, very intense racing here between Adam and, of course, Maca. I'm getting the wrong car there. Yes, Adam and Maca. Fantastic racing here in the final lap. We are now in the final lap of this race.
Daniel's pushing as hard as he can, but he has a lot of penalties. He will try to push. That's the only thing he can do now. But now there's a mistake. I think Linus out of turn 5. No safety car, of course, last lap. And the gap between the leaders is 0.8. Seems like Dirt Chocolate will hold the podium at the moment. And Squid is almost gaining. It is 1 tenth for Squid to gain on this last sector. 3.0 is the gap between Squid and back row at the moment. As Jasko will almost cross the line. He's on turn 13. He's on turn 14. This can be very close. 3.3 is the gap between back row and Squid. Seems like the podium will be for these 3 guys. Jasko P1, Dirt Chocolate crossing second with the penalties. Squid as well, and back row only 0.6 behind the podium finishers.
Wow. Wow, what a race this turned out to be for Tier 3. Yasko, Dirk, Chocolate, Squid, your top three here for round 13. What a race finish that was. Of course, we're going to have interviews in just a second here with the top three and a raid. And I think we're going to be visiting Mr. Dirk Chocolate today as well. So stick around for that. But man, what a dynamic race around Hungary that was. Yasko, Dirk, Squid. Of course, we have back row in fourth. Dunk on you, fifth here for this one. Rutanius, he is going to be one upset guy, I'll tell you that right now after this race. What a very, very difficult race in the end for a variety of the drivers on this grid. We have Beccario in 7th, Lavelle in 8th, and we'll go down through the rest of this classification in a moment, but I am just struck.
9. And Moen on the points as well. Beccario as well on the points. Driver of the day for him, for the Spaniard. The other Spaniard not having the best luck today. It was the pole sitter, and then he DNF'd, so it was a shuffle of positions today's drift.
What a race. What a race. There's not many other ways to describe it. It was just a fantastic, dynamic race. So much different stuff going on. We saw the safety car really throw a monkey wrench into the equation. We had the rain, the confusion. Just, it was a Formula One race if I've ever seen one, and it was just great to see it done here in this virtual space. So thank you everyone to tuning in. And Alex, what you and I, we keep getting these fantastic races. Wow. Wow, there's the classification for everyone there on stream. Yasko from 6th to the win. Dirk started in 4th and he collects the podium, and it was Squid who also started outside. All three of our podium finishers started outside of the top 3 to give you a sense of how this landed. Back row, he started 3rd. He still collects solid points. 4th for him at the end of this one. His teammate on the podium today. Dunk on you, 9th to 5th. What a drive. Rutanius, he started on the front row. The Dutchman with a superlative race start, a great performance in this conditions, in this wet conditions. But of course, it was the strategy call, I think, in the end that really hampered him. Beccario, wow, 16th to 7th here. The Haas driver is going to be thrilled with that. Lavelle, consistent drive for the Alfa Romeo. He finishes it in 8th. Alpha not quite hitting that mark of 1 driver in the podium and 2 in the points, but Lavelle doing a good job in 8th today. Maka 11th to 9th, and it was Moen from 18th to 10th securing the double points finish for the Racing Points. There is something to take away for that squad. All things said and considered, they did get a good haul of points today. Undertaker, Daniel, Linus, Cactus, Unicorn, Alex, Bud, Grenade, Arrow, as well as Gadwin, and Damon Plays joining us for this one. Damon with technical issues, seeing him out of the race. But I am very happy with how that one went, Alex. Of course, we'll have interviews in just a short moment.
Yes, Jasko, Dirk Chocolate, and Squid will be the podium for today's race. It was very intense. That safety car at the end really sparked all the action at that end. So I'm really happy to see them there on the podium, and it was, I think, really, really deserved.
Definitely very deserved. Squid, we now have you in the commentary booth joining us, and I just have to say from I think everybody watching, what a race. Congratulations on another podium finish here in Tier 3. It was a solid finish for you at Williams, starting in 5th. Why don't you talk us through your race?
Well, I didn't really get the quality I wanted. I was on for a pull-up and came on with a stupid invalidation that I didn't need to risk. But started the race, went pretty well, all the way through, just defending. And then that final 3-lap shootout, it was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever been through. Because to start off, I got an illegal overtake on back row, so I had to lane back through. And then straight after that, picked up a 3-second, which I thought my race was over. And then heading on to the final 2 laps, got past him, built a 1.5 second, and then going into turn 2 on the final lap, I got a big screen freeze. But luckily, I still managed to pull out that 3-second gap. So yeah, a good race overall.
Well, it was a great race. I hope you'll watch it back to see how much confusion and difficulty there was for a lot of the drivers on the grid. Starting this race where you were with the conditions, was there any doubt for a podium today? You said you were going to get a potential pole here today. So you obviously had a good indication of where you were. Was there any doubt when you saw the conditions, or was it pretty well, I'm getting a win, if not a podium today, throughout?
Well, I actually despise the rainy, wet conditions, so I'm very surprised with the podium. I was actually only keeping my hopes in a top 10, but with P3, I'm very happy with that.
Williams has been coming along very well over the course of the season now. After 13 rounds, we've seen great improvement from especially, I think, your teammate in Alex Budd. He had a great qualifying today. He got himself 10th on the timing tower. He didn't have the greatest race. Of course, it was a very difficult race to say the least, but how is Williams looking, just growing through the season now? We're over the halfway point. How are you looking ahead for round 14?
I think we're looking pretty strong, to be fair. Yeah, Alex just had a little unlucky race, got contact, had to let everyone through before he could return back to track. But I think, heading into round 14, we can score some good points and hopefully look to lead that combined constructors.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, Squid, and congratulations again on the podium finish. We'll see you maybe next week, and we'll see you in the race.
All right, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know who this man is. It is none other than, as I dub him, Dangerous Dickens, the lovely Dirk Chocolate, joining us now for a little bit of comment on his campaign around the Hungaroring. Well, you talked to me before the race, Dirk. You said a win today. You took a bit of a penalty. It was definitely a tight race. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know Alex did. He's just away at the moment. But your quali wasn't the best. You didn't get into the top three. That fourth position for you. But you landed it into second. So let's, begin.
Well, I did something the exact same as last week. I did something stupid, and I abandoned my lap, which was going to put me into pole. Didn't have enough time to get back out again, and got P4. Just simply because of stupidity, nothing else. And then the race was so... I had mixed emotions. I had a really good start, and then got held behind Britannius, who was just quick on the straights, and I couldn't get past him. So I had to make a call to pit, even though I didn't want to, just to get by. And then Yasko just kind of undercut me massively, and then I couldn't get past. And then the safety car came out, which was just kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely. The safety car was a big monkey wrench into the equation, as I say, and I have to say, watching this race with Alex, as a driver who was going to have to do this race tonight, I really hope my race isn't that dynamic, because being in the cockpit as a racer for this, I mean, watching it back, I think you'll see, wow, there was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of difficulty for, I think, a lot of the drivers, but you managed to pull it through. You had one very distinct moment in this race, I think, strategy-wise. You had gone in off that long stint. You came out and you had an issue with traffic, and not only was it traffic, but it was Yasko's teammate. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I pitted to get past Britannia, so I didn't get held up by pace, knowing that I was losing time. And then I ended up behind back row, and I saw it was back row Yasko, and I was like, they're gonna swap, aren't they? And then they swapped, and then I was like, he's gonna hold me up, isn't he? Please be nice to me. Held me up, and then it was just kind of like, I have to get past as soon as possible, otherwise this is a GG.
Well, what a race it was. Dirk, congratulations on a second position. McLaren, they looked strong today. Damon, with unfortunate technical issues, we'll hope to see you guys bounce back next week in round 14 with some more good points. Congratulations.
Looking forward to Spa. Hopefully it rains again. I love the rain.
Well, take care, and thanks a lot, Dirk.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
All right. Last, but absolutely not least, joining us now for a commentary, Yasko. Hello, sir, and congratulations on a win. It was not a top 3 starting position for you, but it was definitely a great finale to a long, dynamic race. How are you feeling?
Hello, Steve. Hello, Vito. I feel very good after winning. I got really good start. I gained 3 position and then stacked with Dark Chocolate and Rutanius. And after safety car, feel really good for winning.
It was a very solid finish overall, I think, for Red Bull. Once again, you guys seem to be on a roll. Do you have massive expectations for Spa?
Yes, really yes. But I have to say big thanks to my teammate from now, because he really helped me for winning. I am sad he didn't finish on top 3, but that's it.
It was a really, really great race. So much difference in strategy. It definitely played out well for you today. I mean, you and back row last week, you had another very bold strategy call. It might have seen you guys with another solid finish, but of course you had that puncture. Now you come after Silverstone with a win. How does that feel?
It's good. I don't want to try to the finish again. It's big risky for puncture, but again, Baker saved me to pit. I have to say big thanks to him.
Well, congratulations
Yeah.
to you, Yasko, and Tobacco and the Red Bull squad. We'll look forward to seeing you next week for round 14. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you to you. See you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in for our interviews with the podium finishers. We've just heard from Squid, Dirk Chocolate, and, of course, Yasko for Williams, McLaren, and Red Bull, respectively. What a podium finish it was. All three drivers starting outside of the podium potential places. We saw rain, we saw dry conditions, we saw confusion, but that is going to be it for Tier 3 racing action. Massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat, of course, and via the panels down below on their website, or you can find them on Twitter for some amazing, amazing sim racing rigs, motion sims, wheel stands, and things alike for the racer from beginner all the way to advanced. I'd highly recommend it. With that being said, you can find us on YouTube, where we're now streaming Formula 2, and we have all of our replays and highlights. Tonight, at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 2 a.m. for those of you in the UK, and 3 a.m. for those of you in Central Europe, we have the Americas division once again taking around the Hungaroring. I'll personally be driving in that, and, well, we might even see Alex Bitto back for commentary. We'll have to see how things pan out, but that's it and all I have to say. Any last words from you, Alex, before we head off for another great evening of racing?
I really like this first races of the week. It's always Tier 3, and it's always bring the action for all of this week of MRL. And, well, this week was in Hungary, and I hope we can see some action like this the rest of the week.
Same here, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys next time. Of course, we'll be back for Tier 2 tomorrow, same place, same time, 8 p.m. EST. That is 3 p.m., of course, Eastern Daylight. And now, time for the outro. We're going to head on over and see Dirk Chocolate. See you guys next time.